And welcome back.
How you guys doing today?
So we are here to face the final element, igneous, or fire,
Fire.
basically. We have some emos to go through, don't worry. It's half the amount we had last time. And I've eliminated the ones that were just clues to the puzzles, which we don't get. Apparently, Venture Company has gutted its servers to only the basics of the emails that basically give storylines. So, let's get on with it. Actually, have you received the latest analysis from the profiler? I thought it was interesting, and I found that it fitted in nicely with the own analysis of the case. Here it is in full. Volker's murder. Contrary to what Hans Berthold of the Volker Institute said, I don't think that the theft of the cursed book was the motive for the murder. The Super 8 film bears the hallmark of professionals, and they don't go around killing people just to steal. I reckon that Volker discovered something related to an ancient book that he shouldn't have. The Phoenix's murders. It looks as though the current murders have been painstakingly prepared and staged down to the most minute detail. The crime scenes have revealed the following characteristics: symbols of planets marked on the body, the inscription Sol Invictus, the whole setting inspired by ancient engravings, era. Some victims and places appear to be closely related to religion, inquisition, secret societies, sex. Links between Volker case and the Phoenix. This has got to be the key to the mystery. Before the murder in Oxford, Lorsky was convinced that Volker's murder had something to do with some sort of dispute between traffickers. It was Helena's Whitford's murder, and especially Sol Invictus found near the body, that enabled him to draw a link between the Volker case and the current murderer. Even so, there's nothing to prove that the two cases are related. Coincidences. It has said that there's a lot of strange coincidences. Volker was bumped off near Rhodes. Rhodes is linked to Helios, and Helios to the sun cult, Sol Invictus. In the Sol Invictus cult, you come across planetary references that can be found in the Phoenix's ritual in the Cedar the 36 Deacons. My interpretation: Volker, guided by the cursed book, discovered the existence of a secret society associated with the cult of the Invincible Sun. This society decided to take him out of the picture, either to protect the existence or protect some secret reserved for initiates only. The cursed book might have contained a secret which the sect didn't want revealed. If the Phoenix's victims belong to the secret society, which seems to be more and more likely, it remains to be seen what has caused the killer or killers to act 30 years later. I can't make head or tails of it. We'll probably know more in the next few hours. Take care, Julie. Email. Hello, Christiana, Karen's Italian friend, requested that we send out this message on her behalf to all participants. Hello everyone, my name's Christiana. I'm Karen's Italian friend. I heard about this awful game from a friend, and now I reluctantly see that I've been dragged into it. The purpose of this message is to thank you all for your support and let you know that the last news was that I received from Karen over the phone before she disappeared. She called me from Venice whilst she was hot on the trail of the killer. She was convinced that she'd be able to help the police catch him. She gave me a quick rundown of his modus operandi, and in particular explained about his fascination for Giordano Bruno. Since then, I've done a bit of digging on Manus Domini. It's a sort of sect made up of Catholic extremists. Some of my friends think that it's an unofficial secret religious order that was created during the Inquisition, and which was survived through to the present day. After a bit of investigating, I managed to ascertain that at least 6 of the Phoenix's victims were more or less members of this organization, including Antonio Forsani, the journalist from Rome who is apparently investigating on behalf of the organization. I don't know if this information will be of any use. Whatever the case, I hope we'll find Jack and Karen ASAP. Regards, Christiana Lorbandelli. Since Giordano Bruno's name turned up, I found out a lot of stuff about him that I didn't know before, especially his thing for magic. One of my friends let me borrow the book by Yeats called Giordano Bruno and the Hermetic tradition, which is mentioned on one of the sites and which talks about this largely unknown aspect. This book is fascinating and reveals a whole load of disturbing facts about this character's hidden side. All that remained was to find the link between Hermes Trismegistus and Sol Invictus, which the Phoenix uses as a calling card at the murder scenes. I think I found the answer in a famous book on magic called the Picatrix, which did the rounds during the Middle Ages and apparently inspired Lovecraft to write the Necronomicon. This is an older Arabic treatise, which was obviously written for the masses, goes on about the magic power of planets, stones, plants, and animals. It credits Hermes Trismegistus as the inventor of these magic figures, and above all, the founder of Adosintan, an ideal Egyptian city organized around a solar cult. Some people are even quick to associate Hermes himself with Akhenaton. Could the Pictress be the infamous cursed book that the old bookseller was talking about? Did Volker have his hands on the original? I know it's all pie in the sky, but it's probably worth bearing in mind over the next few hours. Never heard that saying, pie in the sky. Interesting. Unbelievable. Why didn't I think of it sooner? By typing the names of the places where the Phoenix committed his murders on the internet, Naples, Genoa, Geneva, Toulouse, Oxford, Paris, Giordano Bruno's itinerary popped up, and with it part of the mystery. The Phoenix's ritual is therefore definitely related to Giordano Bruno, and his description of the 12 planets. The pictures can be found on the site. 12 murders staged in 12 different ways to correspond exactly to the 12 planets described by Giordano. The images are on the site. 12 victims apparently belonging to some mysterious secret society dating back to the Inquisition. 12 places that go back over Giordano's itinerary some 4 centuries later. I can understand how Karen and Jack must have reacted at this revelation. They managed to suss out the Phoenix itinerary, and after learning of new murders in Germany, they decided to head for Prague and put an end to the killing spree. One main thing still needs to clearing up, though. If the Phoenix is attempting to avenge Giordano Bruno, where does the Fokker case fit into the picture? I sincerely hope that Jack and Karen won't be the next victims. Julie, P.S. For Gary, I still live with my parents. Don't know why we got that. We have a few more from the emails themselves. Oh, God. And of course, my internet decides to crap out. Hello, the situation appears to be developing at an alarming rate. Here, I'm going there. The recent discoveries concerning the Phoenix seem to confirm the worst-case scenario as laid out in my previous analysis. The Phoenix is particularly formidable due to his intelligence and seems motivated by ideas that are fed by an inexhaustible source of disturbing facts. While waiting for more information regarding his pre-regrinations, the Phoenix seems to be an individual without any roots, an incredibly solitary wanderer of an international scale. He is sexually frustrated. He is insensitive, immoral, obstinate, and unstable, which are the classic signs of a psychopathic personality. One fact appears to be established. The Phoenix hunts for future victims on the internet. Several of them had a website. He will certainly continue to use different pseudonyms, as can be seen with other criminals. The effectiveness of his ability to cover his tracks reinforces the thrill of impunity. Challenging the police and delusions of grandeur give rise to empathetic and procreative declarations. They sometimes result in particularly careless behavior that could be interpreted as a subconscious desire to be caught. The accumulation of clues taken from history, religion, and mythological representation feeds the dominant psychological process in his mental functioning, intellectualization. This mechanism allows him to repress the thought of the shameful impulses at work when he takes action. There is a denial of sensitivity. All emotions and feelings are replaced by a strongly structured mental plan. Every impulse that would make a normal person's hand shake or heart race, in other words, make him doubt, has disappeared from the Phoenix's field of conscience. He has been blinded by his ideals and illusions. His feeling of omnipotence, his megalomania, has swelled with each escape from capture. In any case, he feels no guilt. On the contrary, he considers himself the dispenser of justice. Feelings of guilt have thus been completely rejected from his consciousness and projected and assigned to others. His victims are the guilty ones. They are elements in the Phoenix's words and attitudes which typically belong to the paranoid, especially the conviction of a plot, persecution, and resentment. In this respect, the Inquisition ideally and mentally represents the summation of everything having to do with traps, torture, and concealment. Without wishing to sound paranoid myself, it is time to consider whether all of this can be attributed to just one person. Since this case began, I have been amazed by what the Phoenix is capable of. His skills in both computing and art, which are highly developed as evidenced by the CD he created, already appear to be a rare occurrence. If you include all his movements, actions, and knowledge, it seems reasonable to think that there might be a second person involved. The Phoenix could have easily subjugated someone in a circle of friends, led them into his convictions, dominated them, and thereby taken advantage of that person's additional skills and expertise. The hypothesis that the Phoenix heads up a sect indulging in satanic rituals must logically be taken into account as well. We could therefore tie all the different elements together by supposing that the pseudonym designates a group of individuals acting in unison. To be honest, at this stage, the theory of a serial killer acting in isolation nevertheless appears to be the most probable, even if I am still confounded by his extraordinary abilities. Do not drop your guard. David Marcus. I'm watching you. I'm there, right near you. I'm watching you. You could almost feel my breath on your skin. See you later, my little friend. See you later, fact of sin. The Phoenix. Hello, one of the participants has sent us the following message, which might be important for what is to come. After countless searching through different books on alchemy and astrology, I think I found the origin of the names in the Phoenix's program. After establishing a connection with the names of Greek deacons, I found their Egyptian equivalent. Bibu, Zantar, Biu, Saiseme, Seseme, etc. Egyptian Gnostics considered the 36 deacons of the astrological zodiac to be divine powers. The names on the CD-ROM would therefore correspond to Egyptian demons. Based on this assumption, my searchers came up with the exact names on the CD-ROM and Hermes Liber Sacer. The Phoenix's ritual therefore draws inspiration from alchemy. All that remains is to find the link between Hermes Trismegistus, the founder of alchemy, and Sol Invictus, the Phoenix's calling card. All the best, SKL Network. And the last one from David Marcus again. Hello, I was kidding myself that I wouldn't have any further involvement in this case. The latest developments merely add to my reluctance. Trying to understand someone means first of all that you not judge them. In the case of the Phoenix, I emphasized from the outset that it was dangerous to admire his intelligence. I warned you against the aesthetic way that he staged his crimes, but I must acknowledge that I underestimated certain facts. The inscription in memoriam found after the murder of the journalist proves more than just a signature. It expresses the Phoenix's motivation, the banner by which he is persuaded to act. We know that he was deeply into the past, and now we can see that he is violently bringing the past out into the present day. He is like the obedient and faithful soldier of El Cid, whose embalmed remains are riding out in front. You? Giordano Bruno. What does this person represent? Giordano Bruno, who passed for the most learned scientist of his time and who read all the books published during his era, is the man who holds absolute knowledge. He is an unrivaled, overwhelming character, like a father. But in the collective memory, Giordano Bruno is also the man who was condemned and burned at the stake for heretical ideas that stemmed from his overflowing imagination. He consequently represents at the same time the danger of guilty ideas and the punishment of bad thoughts. This character is the focus of a large number of ambivalent fantasies between an overwhelming superego and forbidden impulses breaking through into the real world. And without any acknowledgement of guilt and unable to find his bearings, the Phoenix, like a bird reborn from his ashes, has escaped into the imaginary and the symbolic. He set out to look for anything that vaguely struck his chord in him, scorning what could have made him see. Common sense. Convinced of reaching the truth, he misjudged himself. Madness is nothing more than unconscious misfortune. As the Phoenix becomes schizophrenic, we have already pointed out the Phoenix's taste for puzzles, his inordinate use of proper nouns, his systematic practice of codes in ancient languages, and fascination for myths and hermetic abstractions. We finally realize that the Phoenix has composed a personal symphony, an emanation of an imaginary world. His thoughts are dominated by cynicism and symbolism, emotions hidden beneath pseudo-cynical indifference given way to episodes of criminal impulses. Guided by the idea of exacting vengeance by acting in memoriam, the Phoenix seems to be going through a depersonalization experience. Watch out, the tension within the Phoenix's psychological life has gone far beyond the threshold that most of us could bear. A brutal confrontation with an unexpected event could bring down the last barriers that intermittently hold him in check as part of his concern to communicate with you. Try to remain level-headed. David Marcus. And that's it for all the emails. Good lord. So now it's time to go back to the CD-ROM. And here we go. Oh god, it's a minigame. What am I... Oh. Huh? I'm not sure what I'm doing here. Oh, I've got to keep these alight for a certain amount of time, I guess? Very strange game here. Oh. I'm like just waving this thing around like a magic wand. Good lord. Bippity boppity boo.
Keep doing it.
Yeah. Oh. Oh god, no. Bad game. Bad. We shall pause for a moment. Okay, we're good. Don't know why this broke, but we're okay. He lived in this house in Prague a few years after I'd been there. A house, a street name, a number. So I've apparently got to find a clue here so we can find the street. What's that? You still there?
Yeah.
Oh, I